الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my beloved brothers and sisters, and welcome to a new episode with reverses, alhamdulillah, where we will inshallah ta'ala take some questions from our brothers and sisters that call in, as well as inshallah ta'ala taking a call from one of the Huffaz, those that have completed memorizing the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where they will walk us through the journey of memorizing the Qur'an, and hopefully we can take some lessons for ourselves to benefit from and to help us either embark on a journey of memorizing the Qur'an or complete it bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And with us online we have our first caller for today inshallah ta'ala, and that's our brother Grant. Assalamu alaikum, Grant.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm very well, alhamdulillah. And how are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. Nice to be
Where
here.
are you
Nice
calling
to meet
from?
you. I'm calling from Connecticut.
From where, sorry?
Connecticut in the United States.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Allahumma barik. Ahlan wa sahlan. Lovely to have you with us. Allahumma
Thank
barik.
you.
MashaAllah, tabarak ar-Rahman. And what's your question for us today?
Who is your personal favorite Quran reciter and why?
Is that the question you have only for us, or is there another question?
That's the question.
I will answer your question. I will answer your question, inshallah ta'ala. But is there any other questions before I answer?
Not right now. Not prepared.
Okay, no problem, inshallah ta'ala. Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm going to make you confused now, but I have many different reciters that I like listening to, and subhanallah, I won't say to you there is only one. There are too many. So it depends on the moment of the day, or that specific day of the week. I might listen to this reciter or that reciter. But among my favorite is Sheikh Muhammad Siddiq al-Minshawi. Rahmatullahi alayhi. Muhammad Siddiq al-Minshawi. He's famous as al-Minshawi. The reason for that is the way he recites very eloquently, mashallah. Plus, also he's got some khushu' in his voice. It makes you think of the verses he's reciting, subhanallah. Also some other reciters as well that I like listening to. Many others, subhanallah. Like when I was younger, I used to listen a lot to Sa'd al-Ghamidi. Not so much at all now, but yeah, you know, it's stages, yani, subhanallah. I also like listening to my Shaykh, one of my Shaykh, may Allah bless him, Shaykh Ibrahim al-Akhdar, and his recording that he has done in the Mujamma', which is known the Khatma of the Mujamma'. Because of the eloquency in the field of ada, in presenting the meaning of the Quran in his recitation, mashallah. Sheikh Muhammad Ayyub as well, rahmatullah alayhi. I really like listening to him. He's got a beautiful recitation as well, mashallah. And many others. There's too many. If I go on with my list, we will sit here for too long. But let me ask you, who's your favorite reciter? And why? In the same way that you asked me.
I like Abu Bakr al-Shatri.
Okay, mashallah. He's with us in London.
Mm-hmm. I just like the sound of his voice. It was really like the first recitation that I've heard when I came to Islam about 15 years ago.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So Allahumma barik. Do you mind me asking you how old you are, Brother Grant?
35.
35, mashallah. And can you tell me a bit about your story, how you came to Islam, or how Islam came to you?
I came to Islam about 15 years ago. I was kind of, I was in my 20s. I was learning about all different religions. I found it to be the most interesting, and I found that the character of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was extremely, something very special about him, and I felt connected to the deen.
Allahu Akbar. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
So I called the Islamic Center to visit, and alhamdulillah, they were really nice people. We went camping. They've invited me to go camping with them, so I got to know all the brothers in the masjid, and I really liked the environment. It was really nice. so became Muslim and stayed for a long time.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That's amazing. And subhanallah, so yeah, you've have you started learning Quran at all?
Yeah, I can read Arabic. I can recite Quran.
Allah, Allah, Allah. Ya akhi, this is beautiful, beautiful, mashallah. This is the miracle of the Quran for all languages, all backgrounds, alhamdulillah.
They say that I have like a better American accent.
Sorry, say that again?
I said people tell me I have American accent when I recite the Quran.
I mean, Quran should be recited with no accent. I mean, or with one, specific accent. Or the different modes of recitation. But obviously when you are learning, your accent of the language you speak or dialect may affect the pronunciations of your recitation. But inshallah, when you are in the process, you will eventually be able to recite it as an Arab should recite the Quran, subhanAllah. And I've heard this with many non-Arabic speakers. They'd recite Quran, you will never believe they are non-Arab because of the eloquent pronunciation of letters. Not meaning that all Arabs recite the Quran correctly, because unfortunately majority of the Arabs do not recite the Quran as it should be recited anyway. But I'm very, very happy to hear this, mashallah. And have you managed to memorize much of the Quran at all?
Some here and there, bits and pieces, small surahs and little pieces of the large surahs.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah, great. I'd really advise you to try alhamdulillah, Allah guided you to Islam. You are, bifadlillah, now in 15 years as a Muslim. I would say to you, if you really want to taste, and even for the Muslims, not only for you, if you really want to taste Islam on another level or on other levels, then inshallah ta'ala, really try to bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, study the Quran intensively, consistently, start a journey and embark on a journey of trying to memorize the Quran, and don't think little of your abilities when it comes to the Quran, because the more you give the Quran, the more you will take from it, inshallah ta'ala, and you will be surprised and you will realize that you, mashallah, be able to recite the Quran very fluently, mashallah.
May I ask you small question?
Yeah.
What is your
I meant, by the way, even for somebody that is born Muslim, I said, yeah, so I meant even for somebody that's a born Muslim, if you want to taste Islam differently, of course you are, alhamdulillah, Muslim for 15 years, and I meant even if you are a born Muslim, if you want to taste Islam differently, you must embark on a journey of memorizing the Quran, and you're going to find things very different, subhanAllah. But go ahead, please. What's your other question you said?
Just small question. Just want to know, like, what is your favorite mode of recitation? Do you have a personal favorite?
Favorite mode, did you say?
Yeah, like halves or warsh.
Oh, mashallah, Allahumma barik. If you know this much about the modes of recitation, then you really need to, get into the journey of memorizing the Quran. But before I mention and answer your question, what I want to also advise you is, if you want to really learn how to memorize or how to recite, Quran properly, I'd advise you to try listen to reciters that read a bit slower than the Shaykh you mentioned, and always to feel that the Quran differently. Try focus on the meaning of what's being recited rather than the voice of the reciter, because that voice is the gift of Allah to that person. And some reciters, they are also gifted with voices equally, and when the reciter shows the meaning in the recitation, it will have even a bigger effect on you, even though hopefully the reciter you mentioned, inshallah, also may have the ability to show the meaning in the recitation. Not personally, I don't really listen to his recitation, but when it comes to the actual learning, I would advise you to listen to the ones that recite slowly, like Sheikh Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari, or like Minshawi, the one I've mentioned, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay.
Yeah, and in regards to the modes, I mean, all the modes of the Quran is great. When somebody asks me, what's your favorite surah? I will start to speak and go through the pattern. I'll be like, Surah Al-Baqarah, I'll tell you, in conclusion, you will realize that all the Quran is my favorite. But there are some verses here or there that, one would maybe recite more, or it will affect a person more. But I really like the mode which is known as As-Susi and Abi Amr. As-Susi, if you've ever heard of that.
I have heard of it. I don't know much about it. Can you tell me a
Yeah.
little?
السوسي عن أبي عمرو, it's البصري. Abu Amr, he's one of the قراء of al-Basra, which is in Iraq. And he has two narrators that took the Quran from him, السوسي and الدوري, or الدوري and السوسي. So I like the way there is a lot of merging, or it's just easy on the tongue. That's why personally I find it interesting. And I like it. I like the sound of it. And if I was to try reciting it, I like it. Also Warsh. I like Warsh. Like Ibn Kathir. Of course Hafs as well, mashallah. We've been reciting it throughout our life, so alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Yeah, so I mean, but you could listen to it, but it's important. But just to mention a note for you is when you are learning, it's important to try to stick to one mode so that you don't get confused and mixed up, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sheikh.
inshallah. No problem. Any other questions, my brother?
No, that's it. Thank you. It's nice to be on your show.
Jazakallah khair. It's lovely to have you with us. Lovely to hear your story. And thank you, my brother Grant, for sharing your story. Ask Allah to guide you and us to the best of Islam and to keep us steadfast on His religion, Ya Rabbil Alameen.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, a beautiful story. Alhamdulillah. We know the beauty of these episodes is we get people from different walks of life, alhamdulillah, and we take lessons from them all. And subhanAllah, it's not easy at all, my brothers and my sisters, subhanAllah, to change your entire religion. So when a person has reverted to the religion of Islam, know they have sacrificed big time. So we ask Allah for them to keep them steadfast and to guide us, because a lot of Muslims, or a lot of born Muslims, unfortunately, are far from the religion of Islam. We ask Allah to guide us and them and to keep us steadfast on His deen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. With this, we're going to move on to our Hafiz for today, inshallah ta'ala. And I believe we have our brother Hudhaifa with us today. Our brother Hudhaifa, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hayyakum Allah. Are you the Hafiz for today's episode, my brother Hudhaifa?
Naam.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Turkey.
MashaAllah. Are you Turkish originally?
Originally, I'm from Ghana, but I'm studying
Ghana.
Turkey here.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Lovely, amazing. Allahumma barik. MashaAllah, tabarak ar-Rahman. If you don't mind me asking you, brother Hudhaifa, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
MashaAllah. And I mean, it's nice to hear a lot of our Huffaz that have called in are people that have memorized the Quran, maybe in the UK, in the West. It's nice to hear stories of people that have completed the Quran in other places in the world, because they have other techniques, other experiences, and stories that they may have, experienced in the journey. So please tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me when you started to memorize the Quran, and when did you complete it, how long, and so on, inshallah. Please, go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, I started in primary school, inshallah. I started, and then I was schooling at the same time. I mean, doing hifz in a boarding house. So
in a boarding house,
school,
did you say?
Yeah, a boarding school, I mean.
Boarding school in Ghana?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, amazing.
So we're doing, after school, we come back to the dormitory to learn the Quran. So alongside, we're doing both together, and then we'll do from after Fajr all the way to after Asr. I mean, we'll do after Fajr, then we stop around 7 o'clock or something. Then we do after Asr too, and then stop around.
So when you say
Maghrib.
after Fajr to 7 o'clock, roughly how many hours?
Roughly about 2 hours, I think.
MashaAllah, 2 hours in the morning, and then you start again, did you say after Asr?
Naam, after Asr, then to Maghrib.
After Asr until Maghrib, and that's what, another maybe 2-3 hours?
Yeah, that's per day. Every day we repeat that, like that. And even weekends we do more.
7 days a week?
Yeah.
That's good. That's the way it should be. No days off with Quran. MashaAllah. طيب. And in the morning and in the evening, was one of them for hifadh, one of them for muraja'ah, one of them memorizing, one of them revision, or were you doing
Yeah.
muraja'ah? So
So
can you walk
first of
us
all,
through the program of how you used to do it? Maybe people can apply your technique at home.
okay. So first of all, you go to your muallim, and then he will teach you, depending on your capability, he will teach you a page or half, and then you go and memorize it. I mean, within that period, after he has taught you, and then you recite it back to him the next session. That's in the evening, and then he
Okay.
will add you more. So like that, it continues like that. So after that, in the evening
Okay.
too, after you recite and it's perfect, he would add you another one. Then you bring it the next Fajr, after Fajr, I mean.
Very nice, very nice. So your teacher will give you a portion to memorize at Fajr time. You will memorize it,
No,
and then you will go ahead and repeat after him stuff, and then you go memorize it. Then you read
yeah,
it to him at the beginning of the next session after Asr. And then if
no.
you pass it, he gives you a new portion that you start to memorize again. And then you give him that new portion after the next day at the beginning of the session, Fajr time.
No, no.
What about
Yeah,
the revision of the previous memorization?
yeah. So alongside we do the revision, especially on weekends. So weekends you repeat from Monday to Friday, whatever you've memorized. You repeat everything to him. Then
MashaAllah.
depending on the how perfect you recite it, he would continue with you, or you continue revising with him until it's perfect.
MashaAllah.
And then for some time he can decide to make you kind of like question you from the beginning of what you've started memorizing to your current place. So you can
You're beginning
recite
from
anywhere
day
for
one, you mean, or from that week?
yeah, I mean from day one, anytime
MashaAllah.
at all.
Okay, perfect.
So
And are you required to revise all of what you've memorized, like from day one? How often do you revise it to your teacher, or after you pass the revision of the week, that's it, it's your own responsibility?
yeah, so what we do is he you don't recite from the beginning to where you are to him. For that you do it on your own, but
Yeah.
he will kind of like once in a while question you from day one up to where you are,
So which
like
means that
kind of
you need to be,
randomly.
yeah. Which means you will have to be revising what you've done from day one yourself and make sure you're always
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
Very good,
exactly.
mashallah. I like this idea about testing you every now and then about with all what you've memorized. Mashallah, very good. And in regards to your memorization, what is the amount that you are required to memorize every day? How many
Okay,
pages? Or
from the beginning, for me personally, I was taking 3 ayats. That's when I started from scratch,
yeah,
from my chef, and then I'll repeat it just like I explained before. But
yes.
as I went on, then I became stronger and stronger. So I started taking half a page, and then later I started taking a full page, then later 2 pages, and it even got more and more. So like
It
that,
kept going
depending
more and
on.
more, or it stopped at 2 pages, you said?
No, I think before I completed, I could do 5 pages per day.
MashaAllah. So you
Yeah,
5 pages, maybe two and a half in the morning, and then the same in the evening.
yeah.
MashaAllah,
Depending on your
mashallah.
capability. For me, as I was memorizing, I was kind of developing more techniques to memorize, and then it came better and better. So I could do more.
Alhamdulillah, very good, mashallah. And you said
Alhamdulillah.
you are 18 years old, are you?
Yeah, I am.
How long did it take you to memorize the Quran, akhi?
4 years.
4 years, mashallah, mashallah. And is your hifd strong?
Alhamdulillah.
So
As much as you can
are
say.
you ready for the test?
MashaAllah, I'm ready. I'm ever ready.
Okay, khalas. I'm not going to test you. I'm only joking. But mashallah, you being confident in saying you are ready shows that your technique is very good. So brothers and sisters, make sure you take a lesson from this technique. And I specifically asked him about the detail of his techniques because I know in Africa there are some mashallah huffaz that are solid huffaz of the Quran, and I wanted to get to shine some light on their techniques, mashallah. So that's very good to hear your story, your journey, my brother Hudhaifa, mashallah, tabarak ar-Rahman. I think, and I believe, is it brother Subhan that introduced you to call in?
Actually, I received the invitation, and then, but how I got to know the app, actually,
Yeah.
I have this favorite recital from the United States, and Qaris
Sorry, say
Ahmad
that again.
Burhan
Sorry, I
Khan.
didn't hear that.
I said I have this favorite recital of mine in the United States.
Oh, your favorite reciter, did you say?
Yeah,
Which is
Qari,
who, if you don't mind me asking?
Ahmad Burhan Muhammad.
Oh, yes, the Somali brother. I know him, mashallah.
Um,
Allahumma
the
barik.
winner of the Dubai Quran
Yes, he's won a
recitation.
number of competitions, I think, mashallah.
Yeah. I think
So,
in his interview with one of his brothers, I think he was mentioning about Tarteel, and then from there he said it helped him. It's an AI app and stuff. So from there I
mashallah,
said let me also test it, and then I saw it was very very good.
mashallah, mashallah, great. Do you mind me asking you, brother Hudhaifa, what are you studying in Turkey?
I'm studying medicine.
Medicine, mashallah, mashallah, very good. Allahu Akbar. So, inshallah, you will be like one of my teachers. He's a doctor as well as a scholar in the field of
Inshallah.
Quran, mashallah.
Inshallah.
Allah yahfadak. MashaAllah, tabarak ar-Rahman. Allahumma barik. Very, very nice to hear from you. Is there any tips, any advice, my brother Hudhaifa, you would like to share with our callers and from the brothers and sisters so that they could take benefit, and maybe inshallah you will be an encouragement, or your words will be an encouragement for somebody to either start the hifz or to encourage them to complete it if they've already started their journey?
Okay. So first of all, I know there are a lot of tips and people have a lot, but the small I have, inshallah, it's um consistency basically.
MashaAllah.
When you start, you have to finish. I mean,
Alhamdulillah.
don't stop somewhere else. And then also, nowadays there are a lot of disruptions and stuff, TikTok, Instagram, and stuff.
Yes.
So kind of like reduce it a bit, and then be consistent in your muraja'a. At least if you say you are doing 3 ajza per day, and you should be consistent. I mean, every day at least 3 ajza in
Yes.
your revision. So consistency
MashaAllah.
is my point.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much, my brother Hudhaifa. It was lovely having you with us, all
Yeah.
the way from Turkey. I ask Allah to bless you, to reward you, and to make it heavy on the scale of your good deeds, Ya Rabbil Alameen. With this, inshallah ta'ala, my brothers and sisters, we will conclude. But before that, take, inshallah ta'ala, the tips and the advice our brother Hudhaifa gave us, mashallah, in regards to consistency. Consistency is key, and it will help you, inshallah ta'ala, perfect your memorization. And like he said, try to do, especially if once you memorize big portion of the Quran, you need to stick to a minimum of 3 ajza a day. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to reach this and to allow us to be steadfast on it. Ya Rabbil Alameen. With this, my brothers and sisters, we will end today's episode, and we will see you all again, inshallah, in a future episode, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.